Moin Moin and welcome to the Copter College. Today we have a new copter, and as you can imagine and as you can see the box, it's the Yuneec Q500 and it's the new model, the Yuneec Q500 Black. So that's the version with the 4K camera. I will show you today some differences between the Q500, Q500 Plus and now the Q500 Black with a 4K camera. In the basics, the remote control, the copter itself, everything is the same. So when you watch my former videos where I explain the first flight and the assembly and stuff like this, that's exactly the same like for the Q500 Black. So these topics are not on my list today, but I will show you the differences between the new one, and I want to show you some advantages of the new Q500. So let's have a look into the box. Again, we have two different versions. We have the version which comes here in the box with two batteries, the remote control and the hand gimbal, or you have the small version where you only get the copter with one battery and the remote control. So you don't have the box, you don't have the second battery, and you don't have the hand gimbal. I would suggest that you take this whole package because it's much better. You have the transportation box and you have all the stuff, and you have two batteries, so you can fly a little bit more at the beginning. So let's have a look what's in the box. Here we are. Again, we have the top compartment where you find the propellers. We have again 8 propellers, so 2 sets of propellers. They are self-tightening, and when we have a look here under the top compartment of the box, we have the propellers, we have a short guide, and we have a guide where you see the lights and the color code of the lights. You have the guarantee card and the user manual, as I said before, the 8 propellers and the sun shield for the remote control. And now we will have a look here in the accessory box. Let's pack this one together. As I said before, the propellers are self-tightening, easy to install. So let's have a look here in the accessory box. First of all, we have the neck strap for the remote control. Then we have a small box. There is the SD card and one accessory which I show you later in detail. But first we take out the SD card. Then we have the USB cable for the update of the copter. We have the holder for the motor when we install the propellers. Then we have a USB cable for charging the remote control, and we have the LiPo cable to charge the lithium polymer batteries of the Q500. We have a small scissor to move out the connector for the update of the copter, and we have 2 keys for the case. Let's have a look inside the box or the case. Here we have the copter, and you can see it's not white, it's black. Yes, the Q500 Black. The name is programmed, so the copter is black. And now we move the one out here, the Q500. Here we are, and it says here 4K, so that's the model with a 4K camera. But you can see the outline of the copter is exactly the same like the Q500 or Q500 Plus. You have the big motors, you have the same distance, you have the wide landing gear for safe landing and starting. So that's everything the same, or it's the same like the former models. Now we have a look into the box. Here we have the 2 batteries that comes with these set. One we take out because I will start the copter later on. Then we have the remote control, and the remote control, it's exactly the same which comes with the Q500 Plus, so that's the ST10 with a big screen here. The only difference, again, black. That's it. We have a black remote control to the black copter. Here on the bottom of the case we have the handheld for the camera gimbal, so we can put the camera here on the handheld, and we have a small gimbal for floor movies. So if you want you don't want to make only aerials, you can also make movies here on the floor running around with this gimbal. I show you later how this works, because there we have also some differences between the old handheld and the new handheld. Then we have a charger here for the remote control, USB charger for the remote control. We have the power cord here, and then we have the charger and the power supply for the charger. These are the 2 parts to charge the battery. I would suggest, if you want to fly a little bit more and want to charge the batteries a little bit faster, that you buy another battery charger. This one is very slow. It has not so much power. It takes not very long, but it takes some time to charge the batteries. So I would suggest that you buy a power charger which you can charge 2 batteries at the same time. So this goes a little bit faster and is a little bit more convenient than the charger which comes with the copter. So first of all, we throw away our batteries, and that's very good. I'm so sorry. I need the batteries later on for the handheld gimbal. Now, first of all, we have to remove the safety cap here for the gimbal, and then we have to put in the SD card. It's a Microsd card which comes with an adapter. That's the SD card adapter, and at the end we find the Microsd card. Here's the Microsd card, and it comes into the camera. Turn it a little bit here so you can see a little bit better. When you turn the camera around, here at the bottom of the camera, there's the Microsd compartment, and the sign shows how to put it in. We turn the golden connectors downwards and then move the card here in the slot, in the Microsd card slot, push it in till it makes click, and then the card is inside. Next point, we have to put the battery here in the battery compartment at the back side, open it, push it open, then move the battery in, move it to the end and close the compartment. So that's exactly the same with the Q500, Q500 Plus. Normally you should put on the propellers, but here in my office I don't like the propellers in my office, and so no propellers at this time. So we start the remote control. As I said before, it's the ST10 with a big screen. It's exactly the same, the ST10, only in black. So now we start the remote control. After we started the remote control, we start the copter. So they are connecting together. Take some seconds. We have an Android system here in the remote control, so it takes some time to connect the copter, the camera, and the remote control. Here we are. The gimbal is working, so the camera is in the position, And now remote control completed. Wi-Fi connection takes some seconds. And just connecting. And then we hope we get the connection. Here we are. And then we have the picture here on the screen. Explain you the buttons in a short way. So we have on the remote control, we have here the two sticks. I show you in the menu how you can configure this. Usually we fly mode 2. We have the on-off button, press for 3 seconds and the copter starts and stops. We have the on-off switch here. Then we have the switch to change between the different flight mode. We have the smart mode, the angle mode, and the home mode. I explained this in one of my videos before. On the right top side, we have the button to start a movie, and on the left top side, we have the button to make a picture. Then we turn the remote control, and on the left side, we have the switch where you can move up and down the gimbal. As you can see here, when I move it up, the gimbal comes up. So this is the switch to turn the gimbal up and down. And on the right side, we have a switch where you can change the expo gain values. It's quite a combination of expo and gain. So if you are on the turtle, the copter reacts a little bit slower on the sticks, and if you are on the rabbit, the copter reacts very fast on the sticks. So these are the different settings. I explained this one in one of my former videos. So let's come to the menu. Here we have the menu, we have the informations here, we have the mode, we have the GPS, we have the amount of satellites, 15 here, we have our position, then we have the satellites for the remote control, 12 satellites. Here the remote control has a GPS receiver built in. Then we have the Wi-Fi signal and the battery signal. We have the battery for the copter. This one is the battery for the copter, and this one here on top right side is the battery of the remote control. We have the altitude, ground speed, and the distance between remote control and the copter. Yeah, we don't have a perfect GPS signal here, so the distance, you see it's like half a meter and it says 5.2 meter. If we work on so small distance, it could not be very exact. So then we have the different camera settings. I will show you this one later. Just start with the system settings, and when we go to the system settings here, we have the battery life and the different settings here for the Android system, the power consumption of the different systems. Then we have the language, English or Chinese. Then we go down reset. We don't want to make a factory reset. Date and time, you have the different settings for the different countries. Time setting in 25 hour or in the other setting, you know what I mean? Not 25 hours, but the setting before, midday and after. Then we have the date format here. This is the German date format, day, month and year. So about the flight mode control, here we have the different firmware settings, and you can make a radio control update and a system update here on the remote control. So these are the system settings. Now we go to the flight settings, and here in the flight settings you can bind the copter and the remote control. This is done by now for sure. We are together, the remote control and the copter. Next point are the camera select, and this one is very, very important. So when you get your copter, you have to look please in this menu and have to check if it's selected C-Go3 Pro, because only when you get when you select the C-Go3 Pro, you will get in the photography the RAW or DNG format, otherwise you don't get it. So very important, turn it to C-Go3 Pro, very important. Then we have the mode select, that's what I said before. We have the stick mode here and we work in mode 2, and mode 2 means on the left stick Copter goes up, Copter goes down, Copter turns to the left, Copter turns to the right, Copter flies forward, Copter flies backwards, Copter flies to the left, and Copter flies to the right. So that's stick 2 mode, and stick 2 mode is usually used for Copter flying. Next point is the hardware monitor. There we can check our different settings here for the different sticks and switches. And other settings here you can change between metric and imperial mode. I use metric in Germany, so that's my setting here. Then we have the model select, and for sure we have the Q500 4K selected here. So these are the main settings. Coming up now to the camera settings. Here on the right down corner we have the small dial here, and if you go to the dial you will come into the setting menu in the camera menu. First of all, we have the video settings. If you can't get through the video settings, the reason is you have to choose here the video option. If you are in the photo option, in the camera option here, then you can select the video mode. So when we go now to the menu in the camera, you will see there's no chance to change the video option, and so it's very important that you change here to the video mode, and once you've changed to the video mode, then you have the option here in the video settings. Now let's have a look for the video settings. The video settings starts with the normal 4K mode, and the normal 4K mode is 3840 by 2160, and you have the different frame rates starting with 30, 24, 25 and 24. And then we have the higher 4K resolutions, and the higher 4K resolutions are 4096 by 2160 with 25 frames and 24 frames per second. So if you have a TV set with 4K at home, please check which resolution your TV set has. If you have a Samsung TV, usually you have the higher resolutions, 4096. Other TV sets may have the normal 4K resolution, so the native 4K resolution with 3840 by 2160. So that's up to you to make the decision between these two 4K formats. Next point, we have the 2.7 I think K resolution, which is 2560 by 1440. We have also 30 frames or 25 frames and 24 frames. And then we have the full HD resolution, and there's one point very interesting. We have the full HD resolution 1920 by 1080 with 120 frames per second. So you have a slow-mo here in the 4K camera of the Yuneec Q500 Black with 120 frames per second. So if you use the 60 frames per second for standard, you have a 2-time slow-mo. If you use 24 or 25 frames per second and the standard format, you have it's a 4 times slow-mo, almost 5 times slow-mo when you go to 24 frames per second. And then you have the standard full HD modes with 60 frames, 50 frames, 48 frames, 30 frames, 25 and 24 frames per second. So you have lots of choice in the full HD half mode, in the half 4K 2.7 I think is it K mode, and the 4K mode with 2 different resolutions. So you have a big choice here to make, and you can set up your favorite resolution and frame rate. Next point is the audio switch. If you want to turn on audio, you can do this here, and then you have the sound of the propellers or the motors on the video. This one is also used because the camera has a built-in microphone. When you use the hand gimbal and make videos here on the ground, and then you want to have the surrounding, you have to hear the noise or the ocean or something like that, the people talking at the place where you take the video. So that's the reason why you have this audio switch. Next point is the photo mode, and that's what I said before. You only get the different settings in the photo mode when you change to the Stego 3 Pro, and then you can change between the JPEG and the DNG RAW mode. If you want to work out the pictures in stuff in a program like Lightroom, please use the DNG mode, so you have the better resolution. You can get more out of your pictures if you use the DNG mode. Then you have the image style. Here in the image style we have natural, gorgeous, raw and night. Raw doesn't mean that you take a raw picture like DNG. It means only you have a flat profile. You don't have any color grading in the picture. And next point is reset camera, GPS and calibration. So these were the video settings, and as I said before, when you're in the photo mode you don't have the video settings, you only have the photo mode which you can change. Then we have here the different white balances: auto white balance, lock, sun, cloudy, fluorescence, and then the sunrise sunset mode. So you have the different white balance. I would suggest in a normal situation you can use the auto white balance, because auto white balance usually works very good. So my suggestion for standard stuff, use the auto white balance. Only if you see on the picture that the color is not perfect, then you can change in the different white balance modes. Then we have the possibility to change the exposure value. You can change it here when it says auto. You can change in plus or minus exposure value change from 0 up to -3 and +3. I think -3. No, only 2 and -2. Yes, you can change between 2 and -2. And the other option is you don't go in the auto mode, you just go in the manual mode. And when you're in the manual mode, you can change the ISO value from the lowest value, which is 100. That's the lowest value, ISO 100, up to the highest value, which is ISO 6400. And also you can change the exposure time from 1/30th of a second up to a 1/8000th of a second. That's the shortest exposure time, 1/8000th of a second. But again, you have the option to set it manual, and you also can do the automatic mode and make an exposure value correction here on this stick, on the dial here. If you press the screen once, this will disappear if you press the screen twice. Also, the other values, the flight data will go, so you have only the FPV picture here on the screen. Double tap it again and you have the information here. One tap more and you have the options here to set up the exposure values. Here on the right top corner you have these eye, and this is the watch me mode. I explained this in one of my videos. The watch me mode gives you the option that you put the copter in the air in the angle mode, and when you have the right height and the right distance, just turn the switch here to the smart mode and then tap on the eye here, on the watch me eye, and the copter will follow you as long as you hold the remote control in the hand. And even when the copter goes higher or lower, the camera tilts down and up, so you are always perfect in the center of the picture when you hold the remote control. So these are the most important settings here on the 4K camera, and now I want to show you a new feature of the camera, and therefore we turn off the copter and we turn off the remote control, and I want to remove the camera from the copter, and I do this also because then I can show you how the handheld gimbal works. To remove the camera from the copter, it's very easy. We have here on the bottom we have the cable. Just remove the connector. It's very easy to pull it out. There's a small clip. Just press the clip and then move the connector out. And on the front of the copter here at this side we have it's like a button or something like this. You have to press this down and then move the camera to the front of the copter. So I press the button here and then move the camera just to the front and move it out from the copter. So that's it. And now I show you a very interesting feature here. When you look to the front lens of the copter, you will see here two small notches, and this gives you an idea that you can change the front lens, or not the front lens but the filter. And in this small plastic bag here, which comes in the accessory box, you actually will find exactly this, what I said. You will find a filter, or actually you will find one filter, one ND, one gray filter, and an empty filter. This is the empty one, and there you can put in some individual filters if you want. And here we have the ND filter, the gray filter, and if you want to remove the filter, it's very easy. It's a bayonet. Just put your fingers here on these two notches, turn the filter around, and then you can peel the filter here out of the holder of the front lens. Show you, it's a little bit difficult to see, but I think you have seen it. And here we have the difference between these two filters. That's the original on the left side, and on the right side this is the ND filter, the gray filter for taking videos. Actually, you use this filter mainly to take videos, because when you take videos it's very important that you have a long shutter release time. If you take videos with a too short shutter release time, you get the staccato effect and the picture is like jumping from one picture to the next picture, and so it's very important that you have the right shutter speed. Usually the shutter speed should be double of the frame rate, so if you have the frame rate of 30 frames per second, the shutter speed should be 1/60 of a second. Then you get the best results and you get a smooth picture, sharp and smooth picture in the video. The problem with the cameras, with every camera of the copter, even with if you have a DJI Phantom 3 or Inspire 1, the problem is you get the lowest ISO setting and then in the bright sunlight you will get very short shutter speed, and that's not good for video. It's perfect and absolutely okay for photography, that's fine, but if you want to take videos you have to get a longer shutter time or a longer shutter speed, and therefore you need these ND filters. The problem is the camera doesn't have any changeable f-stop. You have only one 2.8, that's it. You can't change to 8, 11, 16 or 22 like with a normal mirrorless camera or a DSLR camera. You only have a fixed opening and fixed f-stop, and this one is f2.8, and so you get a lot of light on the sensor, and therefore you need the gray or ND filter to get less light on the sensor, and with less light you get the longer shutter speed. So if you want to put in the filter here, just move it here in the front part, and then with the bayonet just move it, and that's it. And so the filter is here on the camera. Very useful. I think that's a very good idea, because when you want to make 4K videos and high quality HD, full HD videos, you have to have this ND filter to get videos without the staccato effect. So let's see how the new gimbal works, or the new handheld works. First of all, we have to put in here the batteries, rechargeable nickel metal hydride batteries. That's one difference between the old gimbal. When you open up the old gimbal, you see we have normal AA batteries in this gimbal, and if you use the new gimbal, we have 8 batteries, 8 rechargeable batteries here. All the batteries are in. Now we close the cover here. So here we are with the hand gimbal, and now we have to put in the camera, and this works in the same way like we moved out the camera here in the Copter. So if you look under the gimbal, you have this holder here, and you have the connector here for the power, and now it works very easy. Just hold the gimbal in this way and move it here on the holder, and then put the power connector here in. It's only one direction you can use it, and everything is fine. Now put the camera on the table, and on the back side we have the on-off switch, and we turn on the camera, and hopefully the batteries are fully charged or charged enough, and we will see. Otherwise we have to change one of the batteries. Here we are. Hopefully we have enough power. On the front side of the camera you will see here the green light flashing, and when the green light is flashing then it works fine. Now we have to turn on the smartphone, and we have to check here for the right Wi-Fi connection. We go here to the Wi-Fi menu, and in the Wi-Fi menu you should find the, yes, it's still flashing, you should find the Seago 3. When you do this the first time, you have to enter the code 123456789. Maybe, oh, I'm not quite sure, but I think to 9. And then once you're connected, very important when you have an Q500 before, you know the Seago 2 app, that's this one, but we now need from the App Store the Seago 3 app. Here we are, and that's the Seago 3 app, and now we can turn the camera downwards here to the Copter. You see a little bit of my studio here. Here we are, and you have exactly the same outfit of the app like you have on the remote control. Here you have the setting of the white balance, here you have the setting of the exposure value. Here you can switch between the video mode and the camera mode. Here you have the different settings for the, just go here, you have the different settings for the resolution. Yeah, so it's exactly the same. Here you see resolution, color, and so on. I think the battery is dead. Yes, I'm so sorry. That's it. Now the battery is dead because the camera, you see, that's a problem. The gimbal still works. You see, the gimbal is still working, but the problem is when the power is too low, you don't get the Wi-Fi connection. So the camera works still. You can see I can work with the gimbal. It works perfect, but you don't have the Wi-Fi connection. But I think you have seen the most important settings here, and it's no difference or almost no difference between the settings here on the remote control, and here in the Seego 3 app. So I think you will understand this. One difference between the old and the new remote control, you can change between the different modes here just by pressing the mode button here. Mode 1 is you have the camera in your hand, and when you turn the dial here on the back side, the camera tilts down, and when you turn the dial in the opposite direction, the camera turns up. You can see this here again. I turn the dial a little bit more here so you have it in front of my white shirt. You see the camera tilts down, and backwards the camera tilts upwards. The problem is if you want to make a video out of the frog perspective, very up or very down, you're not able to turn the camera far down or far up, and therefore you press the mode button and change to the other mode, and in the other mode the camera first gets leveled, and then it's like the follow mode, because when I turn now the gimbal upwards, you see that the camera also turn upwards, so you can make movies straight up, and in the opposite direction you can make movies straight down. So this is the follow mode, and you can change the follow mode from the normal mode just by pressing the mode button here, and you see the green light stops flashing. Then we are in the normal mode. Just press the mode button, the green light is flashing, and then we are in the follow mode where you can move up the hand gimbal up and move down the hand gimbal. So these are the two different modes. With the old hand gimbal, you have to turn the gimbal to the side, wait some time, and then move it back, and so you can change between the mode. But here it's much easier to change with just pressing the mode button. Okay, so that's it. Turn it off. I'm sorry for the battery disaster, but I think you have seen the picture on the smartphone, and I think you know how this will work, and we'll find out very easy how this will work with the Seego 3 app. Very important, Seego 3 app. You can't use the Seego 2 app, you have to use the Seego 3 app. And then you also can make a voice recording in combination with video recording, and that's one of the important topics because you have here a microphone built in the camera. So that's it for today. These were the differences and the advantages of the Yuneec Q500 Black with the 4K camera. You have a lot of settings. You have the 120 frames per second in the full HD mode. You have the ND filter. You have the better gimbal here. You have the microphone in the camera. So you have a lot of new things which comes up with the new Q500 Black. Hope my video helped you to decide which of the Yuneec Copters is the best and fits your needs best. Hope you enjoyed my video, helped you a little bit to decide, and if you like my video, yes, please give me a like here and subscribe to my channel. There are coming up some more videos in the next days. I will show you some new stuff from other copters, and as I promised, I will show you some video stuff from, I think, starting with the Ronin M gimbal. I will show you how to set up the Ronin M, and I will show you how to work with the Ronin M, and there are coming some more videos in the next weeks. Thank you for watching me, and as always I say bye and moin moin.